Today we have with us Prateek Kuhad, who's been taking the world of indie music and social media by storm, and he's all set to perform live in Dubai for the second time. Hello and welcome to Khaleej Times, Prateek. It's an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I want to start by saying that, it's been pouring down heavy in Dubai recently, and I'm convinced that, at least one song on every, not today, but recently.
I'm looking around, I'm worried.
It's a little cloudy. But I'm convinced that, at least one song on every playlist, every rainy day playlist is by you. Why do you think that is?
I think like the rains definitely, even with me, like when it's raining, especially, indoors and you're looking at it, it's a very contemplative kind of, melancholic kind of moment, but not in like a bad way, just gets thinking about life. And a lot of my music is very introspective. I'm kind of like that myself. I do tend to get into like introspective bouts where I'm just like thinking and overthinking stuff. So,
So you kind of use melancholy to fuel your music?
Not all of it, but I think definitely it's in there in some of the songs, yeah.
But like people also find that your music really like healing and soothing. It's sort of like people's safe space that they create within, their home. Why do you think that, like where do you think that comes from? Are you also sort of like a calming force in people's life?
Sometimes, yeah, actually, yeah, I can be. And also, I think like, I don't think like melancholy and like feeling kind of healed is, necessarily contradictory or anything. In fact, like I think just kind of getting to know yourself does require a lot of facing some difficult like emotions and stuff. And I think like, we just have this, especially with media and stuff, it's just, we're always talking about all the good stuff in life. And I think that every kind of human emotion has its place,
Correct.
And everything needs to be a bit like explored, and like you have to kind of face it and be okay with it. And that's when you come to the other side is when you actually feel a little better about things. That's basically what kind of healing is. So I think that's a very important thing to do. So that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how
I get it, because I'm sure the creating process is also healing for you, which is why it's healing for the audience.
Yeah, sometimes it is. That's kind of like, on and off. Like sometimes it is. Sometimes, yeah, writing a song can actually feel really, really good. Other times it just kind of happens and it's spontaneous. I don't really understand it myself sometimes. So it's really mixed up with like songwriting is weird for me in that sense. Listening to music does that to me for, like my favorite artists and stuff, and people who I like listening to, or songs that I like, from the past, or something new that I hear, that can do that to me sometimes.
We want to hear this from the horse's mouth. There's so many indie artists also coming from, India in different capacities. There are different singers that are finding limelight. How do you think that shift has happened in the last 10 years? Or do you think it's a great time to be an independent artist right now?
I mean, it's pretty much because of the internet. Like it's just distribution channels and music was just always physical, and that was very limiting, right? Because you couldn't actually like realistically send, hundreds of thousands of LPs or CDs to different countries like in a second, which you can do today. You just put up your music online and suddenly it's accessible for the entire world. That's why music's really moving, and not just like Indian music going abroad, but also just like music from all kinds of countries coming into India. It's just, you just see this kind of, cross transference across like regions happening everywhere, which is because streaming, like now pretty much everybody's listening to music on their phones or their laptops, like just through online.
So you feel like the gatekeepers sort of have diminished, the big media players?
To a large extent, at least on the distribution end, yes.
Okay. And this is your second time in Dubai. How was your first experience, and what are you feeling this time around?
It just feels really different, because the first time I played at like a pretty relatively smaller venue called the Rotunda, I think. I think it was like 700, 800 people. First show in Dubai. Really nice. It was kind of like the similar trip. I was here for 2 days. I came in the morning before. We had a bunch of like interviews like today, and then the next day was the show. And this time it's just like this. We're playing over here.
Yeah.
Like this.
So any surprises in store for us for tomorrow?
I don't want to like ruin too much, because I mean we got a really fun show coming up tomorrow night, and there's a bunch of stuff that I've never done in this city before, especially. So I won't talk about the show, but I'll be around after the show, and I love meeting fans and meeting people who come to the show. And so a lot of times like my manager will just like let people in, like a few people back in for like a meet and greet. So some people might get surprised.
There might be lucky fans tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck, and we're all looking forward to the show,
Prateek.
Thank you, and I hope it's a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.